This video is brought to you by AKS IAS.
Yeah, Kundula. What do you mean by this Kundula? Any meaning you know?
Exactly, I don't.
You belong to Kovuru. Kovuru, which district presently?
Presently, East Godavari district, sir.
East Godavari. Your medium of interview is English.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, you did degree in mathematics.
Yes, sir.
From
Adikavan Anna University, sir. ABN and PRR College of Science. Affiliate.
Adikavi Nana University.
Yes, sir.
Adikavi Nana University headquarters is Rajamahendravaram.
Yes, sir.
Rajamahendravaram.
Yes, sir. Thereafter, I did my post graduation from Andhra University, sir.
Your PG is from Andhra University.
Yes.
Department Mathematics.
No, sir. I did my PG in organic chemistry, sir.
Oh, sorry. PG. Degree in mathematics.
Yes, sir. Degree in mathematics, physics, and chemistry.
Acha.
Yes, sir.
But you have mentioned just degree in mathematics. That is why I thought it is mathematics honors. So how can a mathematics honors can do PG in organic chemistry? That was my doubt. In this, you have mentioned it as degree in mathematics.
They have given a single column. I have to select either a degree in mathematics or physics
Oh,
or chemistry, sir.
this is the problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, you are a postgraduate of organic chemistry.
Yes, sir.
I basically believe that you have a lot of things to do in industrial sector. There are a lot of mishaps in Andhra Pradesh in recent times.
Yes, sir.
What exactly are the reasons for the mishaps?
The major reason behind this is the industry is failing to comply with the established protocol and guidelines, sir. At industry, they should abide to the certain protocols and regulations given by various acts of central government and various directions and guidelines given by the state government, sir. But actually, due to increased costs or increased burden, they are failing to comply with certain regulations and rules. For example, to dispose certain chemicals, they have established protocols. For some chemicals, they need underground storages, and for some chemicals, they need cold storages, and they need regular maintenance activities as well. But due to poor monitoring by industrial management, such things are happening.
Poor monitoring by industrial management means what? Who are part of this management? Is it private? You mean to say private management or government?
No, sir. What exactly is the industrial authorities? There are certain nodal officers designated for monitoring the purpose. Sir, what is their activities? They have to regularly monitor what was happening in the storage tank. Was this gas maintained at a particular pressure or not? Was this maintained at a particular temperature or not? They have, if by accidentally or by chance, any other thing. For example, in Bhopal gas tragedy, water has accidentally entered into post-gen container. Like that, they have to verify things in certain time intervals. What I think is there is lack of such regular inspection by the industrial authorities.
LG case.
Yes, sir.
What exactly is the problem there?
There's styrene gas was accidentally leaked from the container and it affected the individuals. Actually, styrene in minimal concentration is not lethal for human bodies, but sudden exposure created panic among all the citizens and causes take some deaths as well.
Basically, whose fault is this?
It's 75%, approximately 75%. It's a fault of the industry, sir, because they have to monitor whether the containers are properly locked, whether the gas was maintained at the proper pressure and temperature. They have to maintain, and they have to give a proper post. If something happened by mistake, they have to give a proper alarm signals by alerting all the people within the immediate locality. They have to inform the local administrative authorities as well. But what they did is they have informed the locality after some time has already elapsed. By the time the gas was already escaped through the atmosphere, and the things have subsequently.
The winds were also flowing in the same direction.
Yes, sir. Winds were flowing in the same direction. It subsequently impacted trees, humans, and animals as well.
Again, just 3 days back, there was another mishap.
Yes.
Do you know about it? Just 3 days back. Same locality, almost same Visakhapatnam region or something. But not a big one. Not a big one. So they came out, that is apparel something.
Yes.
They came out vomiting, and this happened just 3 days back. But as a student of organic chemistry, if you are posted as a Group 1 officer
Yes.
in that region, what is the first step you take to avoid such mishaps?
The first step should be we have to do for any kind of such kind of disaster. There will be two things, sir. One is pre-disaster and post-disaster things. In the pre-disaster scenario, what we have is we have to check whether the industrial management is complying with the established guidelines and protocols, and if there is something mischievous happening or something lacuna we found, we have to immediately rectify them, sir. Because a chemical disaster means it will cost a large number of lives and animals, sir. So we have to immediately rectify them, and if there is major irregularities, we have to take charges on them, sir.
No. I asked what exactly, as an administrator, what exactly is the point where you plug the loophole? One sentence or two sentences.
Whether they are complying with the established protocols or not. That is the major.
That is, who will do it?
The authorities designated for.
I want that answer. As the administrator of the district,
Yes, sir.
your role is,
Verifying whether they are complying with the established.
that is what I wanted. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
If you say something elaborate,
Yes, sir.
leaving scope for or not,
Yes, sir.
possibilities maybe or may not be, you are not the administrator.
Yes, sir.
Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
You should be firm enough to, yes, as the administrator, I will be enforcing strict measures on the officers who are in charge of it. That's it.
Yes, sir.
That is what I wanted, actually, required from the candidate. So your hobbies are gardening, teaching kids, interacting with
Yes,
farmers.
sir.
Interacting with farmers is a very interesting thing.
Yes, sir.
Why this hobby? Is it a hobby, or is it came as a profession from parents or your rural area? What exactly?
Actually, my grandfather was a farmer, sir. He used to take me to farmland whenever I was free, and I used to do certain things, watering trees and maintenance of the planting activities, vegetable trees, and so on. There, I used to perform a lot of things. But I once I went to my graduation and post graduation, I maintained a distance from such activities. But in the post-COVID scenario, once again, I was sitting at home and I thought, what should I do? Then every evening I used to went to farmlands and interact with the farmers and used to tell them how using pesticides will affect their croplands, how excess irrigation will affect the croplands, and how agroforestry will enhance the productivity of the farmlands, and how to avoid. For example, there is a canal passing nearby our village, sir. Every year, if they plant something nearby, it was affected by that canal. I advised one of the farmer to plant eucalyptus trees there, because eucalyptus is a water juggling plant, and he did the same thing, and now the plants are being established. I hope it will work fine. Like that, I used to give various sessions about that how to diversify into various crops. In our locality, mainly rice was cultivated. I used to say them how cultivating rice as a monocrop will deplete the soil and land, and how we can diversify what are the crops suitable for our area like this.
You were talking about after going for graduation,
Yes, sir.
you maintained a distance.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by that?
During my graduation, I started involving in preparing for the competitive exams since my graduation, and during my post graduation, I went to Andhra University. So there, I developed some other hobbies and gradually distanced myself, sir.
See, why I asked that question is, distancing myself means consciously you thought of, no, I will not go to that.
Unconsciously, I distanced myself, sir.
Then don't say that.
Yes, sir.
You shouldn't say that I distanced myself.
Yes, sir.
I could not.
I could not allocate my time for this activity.
That is the correct one.
Yes, sir.
See, what you did? You said I distanced myself from agriculture means
Yes, sir.
it's a conscious decision of you
Yes, sir.
that reflects. Then it gives some negative and it raises a question.
Yes, sir.
Distancing myself from such activities,
Okay.
that is the sentence.
Yes, sir.
You can say I could not, or I could not allocate time, I could not find time for agriculture. That you have to say. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That is how we do mistakes if we are not having if we are not knowing the exact meaning of that particular usage, that word.
Okay, sir.
తెలుగులో మాట్లాడితే నన్ను నేను అగ్రికల్చర్కు దూరంగా పెట్టుకున్నాను అంటారా?
అదే సమయాభావం వల్ల నేను
అది ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఏం చేశారు? నన్ను నేను అగ్రికల్చర్కు దూరంగా పెట్టుకున్నాను అన్నారు. మీరు అన్నారనుకుంది ఒకటి, కన్వే అయింది ఒకటి. సో దిస్ ఇస్ one test case. It does not mean that you will do the same mistake every time or the same question will be asked. But this is a test case for you. What you want to say should reflect in your answer, not something else. Okay. Right. This, you said excess use of pesticides. This is the biggest, what you call, culprit in our Indian agriculture. How are we going to address it?
By using various by practicing organic farming, we can address it, sir. For example, using various techniques under zero budget natural farming, we can completely rely on what is available in the nature. For example, neem oil is the best insecticide and pesticide. We can spray neem oil on plants to prevent from pests and insects, sir. Likewise, there are various natural alternatives for everything which is available through industry.
But where is the problem?
Where is the problem means earlier near the farmlands, farmers used to cultivate neem trees, and they offer some sort of resistance to pests and insects entering into the farmlands. But what now happened is, due to decreased farming income, farmers are deserving to earn more, and they are cutting the crops throughout the edges of the farms. And due to the shadow of the tree, certain agricultural land will be destroyed. So that they are removing the trees and they are trying to enhance as much agricultural land as possible. But it is offering some negative effects as well.
But see, the problem here is what you have said is 100% right. But this is the thing. Who are the main players in this? Who are doing this mistake?
The main entire reason behind this is lack of what is happening, lack of knowledge of what is happening to the farmers. If we educate them that this is the thing happening, if you remove the trees, they can understand and they will implement the same, sir. Then results will be yielded in the positive direction.
Who has to do this?
Who has to do this? Now government is promoting the field agricultural officers and the village secretariat people, right Bharosa Kendra people, they have to do this, sir. But we volunteers like us can also do the same thing, sir. There is a large number of educated youth in the country, and it is our responsibility as well to educate the farmers about these things, sir.
You talked about single crop,
yes, sir.
Non-diversity,
yes, sir.
in crop patterns.
Yes, sir.
Can you throw some light on this?
Yes, sir. What ultimately happen is, when we do monocropping, sir, the roots of a plant can go only to a certain extent, sir. Generally, in agricultural crops, what happens is we apply the nutrients, and the nutrients will gradually will leach down into the soil, sir. What happens is, generally when we use monocropping, the plants can absorb only to certain extent the nutrients. The roots cannot penetrate beyond that extent. For example, if we diversify the crops, for example, if I planted tree in between those agricultural lands, the tree has deeper roots than the plants and it can absorb the nutrients, and the nutrients ultimately reach into the leaves of the trees. And when the trees shed the leaves will decompose and the organic material will be available for the agricultural crops nearby, and it will avoid excessive use of nutrients. Once excessive nutrients were applied excessively, due to the capillary action, the salts will reach above the soil, and salinization of soil happens as well. This is the major reason for declining of productivity of wheat in Punjab and Haryana. We are learning about it. So such kind of things might happen. For that, we should promote agroforestry or crops having two different root systems at two different levels, so that there will be an efficient use of nutrients.
Have you heard about permaculture?
Yes, sir.
Where?
In environment.
What is permaculture?
Permaculture means permanent agriculture.
Are there any practicing people in India?
Yes, sir. I could not remember exactly.
Now permaculture is also one more trend in India. You can Google permaculture, Aranya agricultural alternatives.
Yes, sir.
You can see permaculture. Recently in Sunset TV there was a a documentary on this Aranya farm, permaculture. Since you talked about a lot of agriculture, organic chemistry, that interests a lot. That's why I continued that conversation in that direction. Anyway, good to hear about a science student talking about nature. The problem is many science students are just key, what you call they are the toys in the hand of the industry. You are not. That is one of the finest things which I liked. People like you, if you become administrators, you can expect some change. Can we?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, Kovuru.
Yes, sir.
Kovuru is in
East Godavari.
East Godavari.
District headquarters are Rajahmundry.
Konosima.
Yes, sir.
Area is Konosima.
No, sir.
Uh,
Ours is East Godavari district, sir. Konosima coastal areas.
Coastal area.
Ours inland.
Yours is East Godavari.
Yes, sir.
Is it forest area? No.
No, sir. But Papikondalo biosphere reserve is nearby.
Nearby.
Yes, sir.
Of course, if you just cross your area, again we will go to forest regions
Yes,
or
yes.
Papikondalu regions.
It's maximum 15 kilometers from our village, sir.
Okay. So, Papikondalu, what are the tribes reside in Papikondalu?
Koyas and some other tribes.
Kondareddy.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Kondareddy. So, Godavari is a great river
Yes, sir.
for South India.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me, in Godavari, which civilization, ancient civilization or ancient dynasty started its journey from Godavari?
Satavahana dynasty, sir. With their capital Pratishtha or Python on the coast of on the bank of Godavari.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Where did you read that Python was the capital?
Somewhere I read, sir.
Have you heard about Kotilingala?
Yes, sir.
Where is it?
In Telangana, sir. Where there Satavahana coins were found.
That is the first capital. Forget about Python.
Yes, sir.
That is the old model.
Yes, sir.
Latest thing is Kotilingala is the first capital,
Yes, sir.
where we found Chimuka coin and pre-Chimuka coins. You talked right about coins.
Yes, sir.
Which coin we found?
Coins of Simuka at the fount of Satavahana dynasty. At Kotilangala.
We didn't find Chimuka coin in Python.
Yes, sir.
We didn't find pre-Chimuka coins, that is 5 pre-kings are there. Can you name them? Do you remember?
Sorry, sir.
Gobada, Narana, Sirivayasa, Kambayasa, Samagopa. These are the 5 kings who ruled before Chimuka. We found all the coins in Kotilingala. So Kotilingala is the first capital of Satavahana on the banks of Godavari.
Yes, sir.
This actually, if you see, you might have seen Gautami Putra Shatakarni film.
Yes, sir.
In that, Gautami Putra Shatakarni says, we will perform the yajna at our forefathers' place at Kotilingala.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
That is the first one. Of course, it's a fiction.
Yes, sir.
Forget about Balakrishna's movie, there are some fallacies, but this is the history.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what exactly is the link between a river and a civilization? Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. Generally, in ancient India, what happened is there is no application of nutrients or like that. When a flood of the river comes, there will be erosion of nutrients from the rocks and other things, and this will be flooded into the soil nearby, sir. There, people use it to sow seeds and use it to cultivate the crops, and they use it to store the seeds when flood season again comes, and that's things happen, sir. That is why major civilization throughout India can be found along rivers, excluding the rocky civilizations.
Excluding the
Rocky civilizations.
means
In the rocky civilizations, people mainly were food gatherers, sir. They don't know about practicing of agriculture. They practice mainly food gathering and hunting. What they need is a good place to hide in, and they choose places having rock shelters as their home territories.
at the same time, Neolithic age. Do you think Neolithic age started on the alluvial soil plains?
Yes, sir. During the Neolithic age, agriculture as a predominant activity established for the first.
But did it start on the major river beds or near water bodies?
Near water bodies. Yes.
See, what we have is, when we talk about river and water, alluvial soil, floodplains,
Yes, sir.
what do you mean by that? You see major deltas.
Yes, sir.
It is not the place where the first agricultural activity or Neolithic agriculture started.
Yes, sir.
It started in the rocky or semi-arid regions only.
Yes, sir.
Nile civilization,
Yes, sir. Nile civilization happened along Nile River.
Nile river, but at the same time, don't ever think that it is just the river bed.
Yes.
It is
In Nile River.
rocky area. Even the Shatavarna area also. River will be there.
Yes, sir.
Not just river. Any river civilization means it is the river, rivulets, and the smaller rivulets and the canals or many water bodies. This complete network is the important one. That is civilization. Anyway. So, Godavari districts, what we call as East and West, is now bifurcated into many districts. How many districts are there now in Godavari?
In the Godavari area, currently there are 5 districts, sir.
What are they?
There are Konaseema district with headquarters at Anakapalli, East Godavari district with headquarters at Rajamahendravaram, and West Godavari district with headquarters at Eluru, and the district of Narsapuram with headquarters at Bhimavaram. And another one is
You said Bhimavaram, Eluru,
Eluru, Rajamahendravaram, Anakapalli, and one more.
Godavari region, is it in Manyasima? Is it in the forest region also?
Yes, sir. In the Papikondal area, we can find tropical deciduous forests.
That region is falling under which district?
It is currently falling under West Godavari district and
Allur
Allur
Sitaram.
Sitaramraju. Yes.
You have to name Allur Sitaram district also. So Allur Sitaram Raju. Allur Sitaram Raju, can you name some of the police stations associated with Allur Sitaram Raju's activities?
Chintapalli was the first police station added by Allur Sitaramraju, sir. Thereafter, he has added many police stations.
What are the other?
Anakapalli
Hmm.
and other. I couldn't recall exactly.
Did he come to Annavaram?
Yes, sir. Annavaram also he added.
Annavaram. So, if we talk about the problems of Andhra Pradesh today,
Yes, sir.
what are the major issues Andhra Pradesh is facing today?
Major issues means post bifurcation. We have limited revenue source, and government has good welfare commitments, and there is a clash between what we call the expected revenues and revenue mismatch, revenue expenditure mismatch, sir. Second, due to rising industrial activity and other things, these days power deficit has become also an important thing. And third, there is a long coastline to utilize, and we have to attract good infrastructural facilities and good investments throughout the coast of Andhra Pradesh. As a newly born state, we are trying towards it. Yes, that's it.
Good. You have what you call enumerated the problems in a better way. But at the same time, those problems are first thing you said revenue deficit. Mismatch between the revenue deficit and expenditure. Why it is happening?
Post bifurcation, what happened is, sir, many of the industries and industrial activities taking place in the state of Telangana, sir. As we see, there is limited industrial activities in small number of cities such as Visakhapatnam and others in Andhra Pradesh, sir. As we know, the establishment of industries will have a spillover effect, and state government will get various taxes over those activities. And such limited number of activities is depleting the state revenues.
But we have a vast resource
Yes, sir.
potential in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
Why we could not tap till now?
Yes, sir. Initially, as mentioned by previous economic service as well, there is a states having good number of resources are suffering from resource curse, sir. Actually, they are unable to utilize their resources properly. To substantiate this, what central government and state government is trying to do this is they are promoting one district, one product, one district, one mineral, and they are trying to tap the export potential of minerals and various products in those districts, and thereby boosting the revenues of the states as well.
Yeah, these are the basic things. So, third point, as you said, is the tapping the aqua resources
Yes, sir.
and improving the infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
All these things are. What about mining?
Mining should be.
Did you mention about mining?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Andhra Pradesh has vast mining potential, sir. There are many minerals found in the Rayalaseema districts as well as bauxite in north coastal districts, sir. We have to tap the opportunity of the mining as well. At the same time, we have to ensure that the mining activity is taking place in a sustainable manner without affecting the lives of the people nearby.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by it means, sir, actually when when mining takes place in an area, a large number of people have to be displaced from that area, sir, especially tribals. They have traditional rights over the forest lands and hill areas they are setting there for the past generations. What we have to do is through the Kampa fund and other funds, we have to provide a proper rehabilitation and resettlement area for the tribals as well. At the same time, a large area of forest has to be depleted to carry mining activity. We have to ensure to make fall within the commitments that 33% of our area of our country should be forest land. We have to ensure that the same area of the forest should be replanted through afforestation activities.
Good. Lastly, last question. What exactly is your field of interest if you are posted as an administrator?
My field of interest is working for the welfare and upliftment of the farmers and women empowerment.
So, do you have any serious studies about how to improve agriculture sector?
Yes, sir. As I said earlier, agroforestry is the best technique on how to improve agriculture, sir. As I said, the nutrient efficiency will be better through agroforestry techniques. And multiple crops instead of a single crop will be better technique. Practicing organic farming instead of, and while envisaging organic farming also, we have to shift gradually. As we see in Sri Lanka, overnight shifted to organic farming and it has caused a great crisis in Sri Lanka. We should gradually shift to organic farming. Once we shift to organic farming, it will boost our experts, starting with the WTO guidelines of phytosanitary measures as well. Thereby boosting the revenues and income of the farmers and providing better marketing techniques to farmers.
But do you think this will happen? Because fertilizer sector and this pesticide industry is not a small one.
Yes, sir. But everything should start with the change, sir. What I observed is when I try to teach something to them, they really listen to us, sir.
I don't disagree with you.
Yes,
I totally support your. I'll be happy if this happens.
Yes, sir.
But do you think this mafia or the industry?
Yes, sir.
Mafia is if you take mafia as some different word.
Yes, sir.
If you take fertilizer industry or pesticide industry,
Yes, sir.
this is an international industry, a very huge industry.
Yes, sir.
Do you think they will allow this to happen?
What I think is that every time there should be a transition, sir. There will be a transition. And companies and society have to accommodate it, sir. Government should encourage the industries to promote various techniques in organic farming as well. Organic farming industry is also very huge, sir. For example, if we consider neem oil, neem is neem is one of the oldest tree in India, inhabiting in India. But what we have is we are importing neem seeds from throughout the world to produce neem oil, sir. We have to encourage farmers to cultivate neem seeds and we have to encourage industry to produce neem oil. Their opportunities won't be lost, and at the same time we are going to in a sustainable manner and we are having better futures.
Good. Good. Let's conclude our discussion now.
This video is brought to you by AKS IAS.